Good evening. I'm Elle Smith, founding coordinator of the Gaining Ground Coalition, a regional partnership of land trusts, municipalities, and community organizations working across the Delaware River watershed. For the past 2 years, we've been quietly proving that regional coordination works. We've protected over 3,000 acres, engaged 12 municipalities in conservation planning, and mobilized around $1.2 million annually from scattered funding sources. Today, I'm here to ask the William Penn Foundation to help us scale what we've already built. The Delaware River supplies clean drinking water to 15 million people, but rapid suburban development is fragmenting forests, fields, and wetlands, breaking up the systems that keep water clean and wildlife connected. But new threats are emerging. Industrial contamination in tributaries, habitat fragmentation is accelerating as forests are converted into subdivisions. In 2023, Regional Land Trust realized we're protecting individual parcels, but the fragmentation problem is regional. Without coordinated land protection, we lose natural infrastructure. Local land trusts are mostly small groups serving one township or county. Each organization fundraises independently, each protects individual parcels. There's no shared strategy. This creates a patchwork of isolated, protected land, rather than the connected landscapes that water systems and wildlife actually need. We learned this firsthand. When we started coordinating informally in 2023, we realized that individual organizations can't keep pace with regional development threats. A land trust in Pike County can't influence zoning in Bucks County. William Penn Foundation has the power to unify efforts by enabling coordination. By bringing land trusts, municipalities, and community partners together under one strategic vision, we move from scattered responses to measurable, lasting impact. The Gaining Ground Coalition does 3 core things. First, we provide strategic conservation grants, not just any land purchase, but ones that connect fragmented habitats into a functioning network. We've already tested this approach. Over 2 years, our coordinated strategy protected over 3,000 acres by targeting parcels that bridge habitat gaps. Second, we support municipalities in integrating conservation directly into zoning codes and comprehensive plans. This makes protection proactive rather than reactive. We're already working with 12 municipalities on this. Third, we run community education that shows residents that protecting open space means cleaner drinking water, reduced flooding, and better neighborhoods. This isn't abstract environmentalism, it's infrastructure. The coalition's role is building trust and coordination among organizations that have historically worked in isolation. When land trusts share data, when municipalities align planning, when communities understand the stakes, that's when regional conservation becomes possible. We're not waiting for the next crisis. We're connecting green spaces before development pressure or industrial expansion fragments what remains. Let me walk you through our theory of change, how this $10 million investment translates into regional transformation. We invest $10 million into 3 core resources: a dedicated coalition coordinator and technical staff, shared mapping and planning tools, and the William Penn Foundation's unique convening power to bring diverse stakeholders together. These inputs enable specific coordinated activities: quarterly coalition meetings for joint planning, conservation grants for strategic land protection, municipal technical assistance, community education workshops, and shared data platforms that enable emergency response when development threats emerge. We've been doing versions of this informally. Now we professionalize it. The result? Measurable impacts. 20+ land trusts actively coordinating, 15 municipalities with updated conservation plans, 5,000+ acres protected, 500+ community members engaged annually, and a continuously updated regional priority map. We are already at 3,000 acres in 12 municipalities. This projection shows acceleration, not invention. Now here's where real change begins. Within 2 years, trust is established among organizations that have historically worked alone. We're already seeing this. Land trusts are sharing data they've never shared before. A shared understanding of regional priorities emerges. We coordinate rapid responses to development threats, public awareness increases, municipal planners begin integrating conservation into zoning, not because we mandate it, but because they see the value. By year 4, connected land networks emerge, habitat fragmentation decreases, water quality improves measurably, public support grows, and sustainable funding mechanisms are established. We're not creating a dependency on Penn. We're building the infrastructure that attracts additional funders. We'll measure success through clear metrics: annual tracking of water quality indicators, the number of acres connected to the network, municipal policy adoption rates, and community engagement numbers. This data guides our work and demonstrates impact to partners and the public. 5 years and beyond, a watershed-wide conservation network protecting 15 million people, wildlife corridors restored, communities valuing open space as essential public infrastructure. Conservation becomes the proactive regional norm, and this framework can be replicated in other watersheds. This theory rests on explicit assumptions that land trusts want to coordinate but lack capacity, that municipalities will adopt conservation policies with support, and that protected lands can strategically connect within 3 to 5 years. Success depends on state and federal funding availability, genuine cross-organizational trust, responsive technical assistance, and foundation commitment. We are requesting $10 million over 3 years to grow Gaining Ground and establish a sustainable regional framework. 60%, $5.9 million, goes directly to conservation grants. That's boots on the ground land protection through easements and strategic purchases. We know this works because we've been doing it. Over 2 years with fragmented funding, we've protected 3,000 acres with this exact approach. Penn's investment lets us accelerate it. 13% of funds go to coalition staff, the people who make regional coordination actually happen. Right now, that's me, part-time, juggling another job. We need dedicated coordinators in the field, working with municipalities and land trusts daily. 9% covers technical assistance, GIS mapping, planning support, and the tools municipalities need to integrate conservation into zoning. We've been using free or low-cost tools. This investment enables professional-grade infrastructure that actually scales. 6% of funds are used for community education workshops and outreach. 8% covers coalition operations, meeting facilitation, and shared data platforms that enable 20-plus organizations to work as one. Administrative overhead is just 5%. Notice the year-by-year strategy. Year 1 front-loads infrastructure at $3.5 million. We're hiring staff and building systems. Year 2 scales impact at $3.5 million as the network matures and coordination becomes efficient. Year 3 transitions to sustainability at $3 million, including dedicated fundraising and endowment planning, so we're not dependent on Penn forever. Bottom line, 60 cents of every dollar protects land. The rest builds coalition infrastructure that makes regional coordination possible and ensures lasting impact. Gaining Ground has operated on approximately $1.2 million annually over our first 2 years together, cobbled together from federal land conservation programs, state grants, municipal partnerships, and in-kind contributions from our member land trusts. That funding is fragmented and unpredictable. Federal programs depend on congressional budgets, state funding faces cuts, and our member organizations, already stretched thin, can't sustain in-kind contributions indefinitely. We've proven the model works. We've protected over 3,000 acres through coordinated strategy. 12 municipalities are integrating conservation into their planning. The demand is there and the need is clear. But we're at an inflection point. Development pressure is accelerating. We're losing ground. Without dedicated staff and professional infrastructure, we lose momentum, and momentum is everything in conservation. William Penn Foundation's $10 million is the stable multi-year investment that lets us professionalize coordination and scale what's already working. Combined with our existing funding streams, Penn's investment creates a $25 million regional conservation effort, one that's not dependent on political budget cycles or volunteer capacity, but on strategic, sustained partnership. So here's what we're asking: $100 million over 3 years. 60 cents of every dollar protects land. The rest builds the infrastructure that enables regional coordination. We've proven the model. We know our partners. We understand the threats. We have the relationships. What we need is the investment that lets us move from pilot to scale, the stable multi-year funding that turns informal coordination into a sustainable regional movement. William Penn Foundation has the opportunity to show that regional conservation isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Thank you.